God will never take something away from you without the intention of replacing it with something much better. Trust that God will put the right people in your life at the right time and for the right seasons. God's plan is always the best. Sometimes the process is painful and hard, but don't forget that when God is silent, He's doing something for you. Romans chapter 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to His purpose. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." Isaiah chapter 43 verse 19 says this. Now, with these promises, I want you to remember that God will never take something away from you without the intention of replacing it with something much better. So whatever didn't work out for you as planned, this is God's own way of saying, I've got something much better. Proverbs chapter 12 verse 23 says, "Be sensible and don't tell everything you know." When you walk with the Lord, He gives you visions. He gives you visions pertaining to your future, visions pertaining to your life. He gives you visions pertaining to the things He wants to accomplish with you and through you. He causes you to see into the future so you can head for that future. Everybody may not see what you see or know the future that God is guiding you into, but some people try to tell everybody what God is showing them. And at the end of it all, that's one big mistake you should not make. Yes, it's a big mistake, except He's the one leading you to talk about it. Understand that Satan doesn't know what you see until you tell him. He's not omnipresent. He doesn't know everything. And when he hears about what you see, then he starts scheming how to work out a plan to stop you. There are people who, because they couldn't keep certain things to themselves, they lost the beautiful idea they've received from the Spirit. And once they got the idea for something, they started telling people about it, and Satan got wind of it. And guess what he did? He devised the means to stop the idea from materializing. Don't ever give him that chance. If there's one thing I've learned to accept, is that people come and people go. Friends you may have made in the past may no longer be around. People you expected to stick around may have left you, and you ask God why. But get this, we serve an orderly God. He doesn't just allow things to happen because He always seeks the best interest of His creation, and He allows things to happen for a reason. So here are 5 reasons why God may remove a certain person from your life. The first one could be to fulfill His divine plan. God's ultimate plan is that we live forever with Him in His kingdom. And when we give our lives to God, we're giving Him permission to do His will in our lives. Therefore, anything or anyone that comes in the way of fulfilling God's plan in your life, He will remove. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11 says, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not evil, thoughts to give you an expected end." The second one could be, they may be toxic. There are many toxic people in this world, and you may encounter some of these people every day and not even know it. They may secretly hate you or become more and more toxic as time goes by. We can only see what people allow us to see, but God sees the heart. He sees all of the secret thoughts and conversations that others may have about us. God knows exactly how much we can bear. Therefore, He may remove someone from your life in order to protect you. 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 7 says, "For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart." The third reason may be that this person is needed somewhere else. Now, God may remove someone from your life because that person is needed elsewhere. Now, this may be a very difficult thing to understand, especially if that person was a good friend or a romantic partner. Remember, God has a plan for everyone's life, including that person. God's plan might take them away from you, but understand that everything happens for a reason. They may need to fulfill their God-given purpose elsewhere. And Moses went and returned to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said unto him, "Let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive." And Jethro said to Moses, "Go in peace." The fourth reason, they may not be right for you. Oh, and I can relate to this. Sometimes God removes someone from your life because he or she isn't right for you, or the timing isn't just right. God may decide to unite the both of you in the future, or he may not. God sees the beginning and the end. We may question why God will allow a perfect man or woman to walk out of our lives, but God knows us, and he will only allow things to happen in our lives that are in accordance with his plan. And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God and to them who are called according to his purpose. And the fifth reason, God has better things in store and he wants to bless you. Sometimes we hold on to things thinking that this is the best life has to offer. We have no idea what God has in store for us. We sincerely do not have an idea what he has in store, and he's just waiting for us to trust him so we can pour out those blessings. But as it is written, eyes have not seen, nor ears heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for them that love him. And when we place our lives in God's hands, we can rest assured that he's protecting us. And even when we choose to do the opposite of God's will, he's always trying to get us back on the right track. He loves us too much and he doesn't want to lose us. We're that precious to God. And when we understand that everything happens for a reason, it is easier to learn lessons from our experiences. For example, that person may have left because of something you said. Now you can learn to better control your tongue. That person may have left because of what you probably did to him. And now you're going to learn how to control yourself or how to respond better to people rather than react. So when God removes someone from your life, don't chase after them. I want you to see it as a blessing in disguise, because we might not know what the future holds, but we know who holds the future. So we need to trust God and trust that everything that happens, everyone that walks in or out of our lives is for a reason. And when they do leave, remember that they just played their role for a season. Remember that they were there for a season and know the reason why they are there. Because not everyone deserves to be held on to. Not everyone deserves to be attached to. So that's a very important thing. We need to know the place of people in our lives and we need to treat them accordingly. They are friends for a season. They are friends for a season. They are friends for a lifetime. There are acquaintances. There are people that are there to play different roles, but the only problem is that we get them mixed up. So in this short walk in life, we need to know the kind of people we meet and we need to classify them accordingly. And when we place ourselves in God's hand, we can be rest assured that he's protecting us. You know, even when we do the opposite of his will, even when we go against his will, even when we're trying to fight all hard, even when we're trying to fight and say, no, I don't want to lose this person, I don't want to lose him, I don't want to lose her. I don't want a case whereby I'll have to put myself out there again. Probably you're struggling from a heartbreak. Probably you're going through a divorce. You're asking yourself, how can I put myself out there? How can I find someone else that's like him? How can I find someone else that's like her? How can I find someone else that could understand me the way this person understood me? Well, I have good news for you. There's not just one person for you. For every one person that leaves, God has 1,000 people to bless you. God has 1,000 people to uplift you. God has 1,000 people to strengthen you. God is our ever-present help, and he shows that through the kind of people he sends to you. So what do we have to do? We have to be conscious, and we also have to be cautious. We have to be conscious and we have to be cautious of the kind of people that are in our lives. And if for any reason they finally decide to leave, just know that their part is done. Don't fight it. Just smile because it happened. So I leave you with these words. Know the different kinds of people that are coming into your life. Categorize them and treat them accordingly. And you'll be glad you did. God bless you.